great Indian novel, The Mango. Oops. That me? No?
There's a rather nice book called The Case of Exploded Mangoes. Do you know that book?
No, but yeah,
So
somebody said the Great
the
Indian novel
mangoes.
always had mangoes mentioned on the first page, and
Yes.
actually in that cake in the first page of my book, it originally had mango cream on it, and I took it out and turned it into orange cream. But did it? I don't think I thought about it really. I just went with that dream and then tried to figure out what the hell it was about.
And how useful and encouraging was it to be with a local publisher? It's Myriad who
Oh,
published it.
they're amazing. Myriad are just a dream. I mean, they're fantastic.
Do people know about Myriad?
Myriad Editions. I mean, they're local Brighton independent publisher. It's been a real joy to work with them. I mean, they've become really good friends, but also, you know, they consulted me about everything. Candida isn't here tonight, but usually comes to every event I do. It's extraordinary how they, you know, look after their authors. They put me up for awards. They've, you know, kind of got me into book groups. They've got me into festivals. There's a publicist who's constantly working on the book. So, you know, I know other people being published by bigger publishers. Book comes out and they just get completely dropped. So it's been an incredible experience, actually.
On Sharon's website, Sharon highlights capital B black British writer. Why do you capitalise the B in black?
I had somebody ask me that in an interview in Germany, and they said, is it a revenge thing that I write black with a capital B and white with a small W? Am I trying to get revenge? It was a strange question. I'm not the only person who does that. That comes from a political tradition. I just need to check something.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that he can play with a mobile phone, please? I'm not going to be able to make this. Thanks. Thank you, Jack. Okay. I shall try to talk fast. Black I use as with a capital B because I'm describing with that not skin colour. The skin colour or the discrimination that people face because they apparently look different is very arbitrary, and the shades are very arbitrary. It's not about the actual tone of your skin, but it's about racialization. What do we attribute to different people according to whatever hair type, size of nose, accent, and these things all make up a so-called racial identity, and who infuses that racial identity with what meaning. And you know, often certain people are put in a certain class and then considered to be negative, and that's black with a capital B puts a political frame on that and says, okay, we know that this happens, we know it's a reality for people, we know it's structural, it's not just a personal thing, but it's a structural thing. It has history, it has money behind it, and if we want to resist against it, then we need to think in a political way. And that's why when I work with people, I like to be able, you know, I use the term people of colour as well, for people who also experience this racialization, but perhaps are not from the African diaspora, and to say, okay, this is the work we have to do to make the world better, you know, to stop thinking about it in terms of someone's called me a name and someone's bad to me personally, but to think of the structure of it.
Good answer, thank you.
The way you played with that in the story where she's about to step into the, I don't think that was me, where she's about to step into the traffic and this guy stops her, and it's in Germany, and she says, he looked like he was vaguely European. And I was trying to figure out, you know, she spent some time trying to figure out what his ethnic origins might be. And I thought that was really funny, because I think when I read Walter Mosley for the first time, I didn't know he was black. And Easy Rawlins comes down the street and, you know, he notices all these people, and then he goes into a building and goes into a lift, and two white men come towards him, and they're obviously hesitating about getting in the lift with him, and then they get in the lift with him and they're looking really uneasy. I didn't realise he was black till, I don't think he says they're white actually, but later on he says something about a white man was approaching me. It's set in America. I thought, that's odd, why would he And I sort of thought, oh, he's black. But it's interesting, it made me realise that I make these automatic assumptions too.
J.M. Coetzee does that in Disgrace, doesn't he? Do you know that book?
Yes.
I've got lots of questions, but let's invite the audience to pose some questions. Who'd like to pose a question to these fine writers?
I think we might have a roving mic, so raise your hand if you'd like to.
Neil had the first question.
Neil gets the first.
Yeah, first question to Sharon.
Hello.
Can everybody hear?
I'll talk loud. You won this award and then you went to a tour in America 1 week after Donald Trump was elected president. A man of German extraction.
Yes.
I understand he didn't actually come along to any of your readings.
Unfortunately.
I'd be very interested to hear how your readings were received at that particular time when America was in a state of shock.
Yeah. Thank you. I landed on the day that the votes were being counted, or I landed at the time when the votes were being counted, and I had assumed, of course,